Morning, everybody. This is Jackie from Jack Gets Lost Down the Book Hole, and I thought I would do something a little different that's not technically book related. There might be some book related quotes, or at least quotes from TV shows or movies that are from books, but I say quotes because I have this little notebook, this little white little book that I keep where I've written a lot of random crap, including some of my favorite quotes from movies and TV shows, because I love that format of storytelling as much as I love books. And for the longest time, that actually dominated my way of getting stories. I mean, I still always loved reading, but it's sometimes it is easier to just put in a DVD or turn on the TV and channel surf, because sometimes it just and also you don't have to, like, if you're just tired and you don't want to concentrate, or if you want to do something like, I like watching YouTube videos, especially booktube videos, then it's just, I mean, it's easier to put on a movie or or find a TV show to watch. So anyway, I thought I would share some of my quotes that I've written down. Some of them I'm going to skip because some of them are more, I wrote I have a lot of quotes in here. See, it's this little notebook. It used to be plain, but then one day when I was hanging out with my friends, this was when, as you can see, this is when Laura, if you can see, actually you can't really see it because it's in this light color. But when Lord of the Rings first came out, the movies, I had a best friend that had a huge crush on Orlando Bloom and Legolas. So she wrote, "Legolas is hot," on here. And we just doodled a bunch of stuff on here. She was messing with me and said, but I know what's in there. Because I never kept journals. I was never good at keeping journals because I always thought my life was kind of boring. And anyway, so let me start before this video gets too long. Okay, so the first one, is from one of my favorite comedy drama sitcoms from the 90s. And I don't know if it still has reruns or not, but for the longest time it would play reruns on on the Disney Channel, and before Freeform became Freeform, like when it became ABC Family, like it was owned by Disney, and they would and that is Boy Meets World, which is basically a show about this young man who grows up, and he goes through friendships and girlfriend. He has one girl that he's Topanga, who he has been with his whole life since he was 2 years old. And he has an older brother and two parents and, friends. And he has this one teacher that has always been his teacher his whole life. Basically follows him to college, pretty much. And this is one where they all kind of have this their whole gang of friends have this big, huge fight. And our main character's older brother is trying to get them all to work because, trying to get them to work out, because he's a very optimistic and hopeful, loving person who, he's like the heart of the group, I feel like. And he said, lose one friend, lose all friends, lose yourself. And that's said by the character of Eric Matthews. And then this next one is also, okay, I'm going to skip this one. So this next one is from, this actually is not my favorite Tom Hanks Meg Ryan movie. My favorite is You've Got Mail, but I like this one. It's from Sleepless in Seattle. It says, and this is actually one of the first lines from the commercial when they advertised when the movie first came out. Or it was an advertisement for a bunch of these type of movies, all in one, combined in one box set. And it says, what if this man is my destiny and I never meet him? Which she says that because if you don't know the movie, this is about this man he just became a widow. It's just him and his son. He's always heartbroken and depressed about it. So his son calls into a radio. They decide to move, and his son, when they move, calls into a radio station. And this woman, played by Meg Ryan, overhears, and the two of them agree to meet. Okay, so the next one is one of my favorite witch movies. And this is one that was like set in the opening credits, and it is from Practical Magic. This is when the aunts are telling the story of their ancestors to the two girls. And she says, they feared her because she had a gift. She had the gift of magic. Okay, the next one, this is one of my all-time favorite horror comedy movies. The Mummy. If any of you have seen it, it's a really great movie. It's these people accidentally bringing back a mummy from ancient times, and his mission is he's trying to resurrect himself, so he steals the life from whoever stole the jars where the body parts and the organs of his lover are in. So when they brought him back, he decided to steal their life force. That's how he comes back, and not the old movies, not the older movies, but the newer ones with that started in the 90s with Brendan Fraser. And this is when when our main characters are learning about the backstory of the mummy and why he does this and everything. And he says, do you think this justifies the killing of innocent people? Let me think. Yes. It's funny, because I didn't know their names, and I can't spell a lot of the names in that movie, so I just said the Magi dude and the librarian guy for who says the lines. And this is the second one. I just love how he said this. Where he's like, I hate mummies, because the mummies are chasing after them and everything. This is another Practical Magic quote, which I just love this moment, period. I mean, this is such a great, intense moment. It's in the climax of the movie, and the line is, they repeat this one. They say it twice. And the sisters will, like, it's kind of do like a blood oath type of thing. And it's my blood, your blood, our blood. Okay. And the next one is another witchy one. It's from a show that I was actually just watching, because I was finally able to get access to our TV downstairs while eating breakfast, because my mom doesn't want me to spill anything, which I probably would when I come to my room. So when I'm eating breakfast, I have to eat downstairs. When my parents are both home, they want to watch their shows, which is understandable. I mean, so this morning I was able to start watching this show, watching Charmed. And this was another one. The first time I heard this quote was actually on a commercial, I think, for the show. So I couldn't remember if I already heard it on the show or not at the time. But all three of the girls say this quote. This is our destiny. This is our legacy. And our time is now. This is when it was being advertised, I think, on TNT. And this is another one from that show. We're not fighting each other. We're fighting evil. That's what Paige says. One of the sisters says. And then this next one is from one of my favorite comedies. Spoof comedies, a Mel Brooks film. And if you're familiar with Mel Brooks, he writes a lot of comedy spoofs and parodies. So this is from that. Gentlemen, lend me your ears. And then they all take off their ears and throw it at him, and he's like, that's disgusting. It was basically making fun of a speech that Julius Caesar says to the people. Okay, this is a Peter Pan, a quote from, here's an actual book quote, from an actual book. This is from Peter Pan, When the first baby laughed for the first time, the laughter broke into 1,000 pieces, and they all went skipping about. And that was the beginning of fairies. Now, the first time I heard that one was in Hook, because I had never read the book until quite recently, actually. Well, more like a few years ago. And so the first time I heard that was Maggie Smith playing an older Wendy in Hook. That was the first time I heard that quote, and I just loved that quote. But then, of course, I figured out that it's actually Peter Pan himself who says that in the book. Okay, here's another one. From Shrek, the Shrek movie, which I believe was book 2 originally. But I haven't seen the book version. So the first one is from the first movie. And this is what Donkey says. Okay, so I'm trying to get into character, but I'm not very good at that. Wow, that was really scary. And if you don't mind me saying so, if that don't work, your breath certainly get the job done. You definitely need some tic-tac or something, because your breath stink. Man almost burned the hair on my nose, just like the time. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna do all that. I only have the part when he. Okay, so next one is from the second movie, and this is what Puss says. Puss, fear me if you dare. Pray for mercy from Puss and Boots. Okay, yeah, I can't do the Spanish accent. Or is it Spanish or Mexican? I don't know. I think he's supposed to be Spanish. Okay, this is one of my favorite kids' movies. I never read the book, so this is another one that is technically originally from a book, but I've only seen the movie version, so I don't know if this exact line is in the book. But this is what when James, before he becomes the animated, and he meets all the giant bugs and goes on the Peach adventure. This is he meets the mysterious old man. And it will be that much closer once you take the first step. And I don't have the rest of that little scene. Okay, this is from Men in Black 2, one of my favorite alien sci-fi movies. And it was one of my early sci-fis, because for the longest time I wasn't a huge sci-fi fan, but of course I watched the superhero movies, like the original Batman movies, and Men in Black. So, you don't look so good. Yeah, and you look like crap. I take that back. He looked like crap. I love that. I like that scene. There are so many hilarious scenes in the Men in Black movies. Okay, here's another one. Another practical magic, and this is set at the end of the movie. When Sally is narrating. Because in the beginning of the movie, it's the aunts that are narrating. Stucker Channing's character, and then at the end, it's the Sally who's narrating, played by Sandra Bullock. Leave rosemary by your garden gate, plant lavender for luck, and fall in love whenever you can. So this next one is the first witchy movie I ever got into. It's a Disney Channel movie. But it's when Disney Channel actually, when I liked it and I thought it was decent quality. This is what the grandmother in Halloween Town, the head of the witch, the Cromwell clan says. Being normal is vastly overrated. And that is said because the mom of our main character, Marnie, has gotten away from that life as a witch and has left Halloween Town. And her mother, the grandmother, always, well, it's her mom, the grandmother to Marnie, she always comes back. The only time she can come to visit them in the mortal world is every year on Halloween. And she's trying to get her to realize that Marnie it's her time to become a witch. It's her birthright. And the mom is like, no, I want my daughter to grow up normal. I don't want her to be like you, be a witch, be a part of this world. And like I said, she says, being normal is vastly overrated. Okay, the next one is the first DVD I ever owned. And it was a mini-series about Merlin. It was the Merlin Miniseries with Sam Neill as Merlin, Miranda Richardson as Queen Mab, Isabel Rossellini is the Nimue, and in this case, Nimue is the daughter of a lord, and the love interest for Merlin. Because I know normally in the mythology, I think Nimue is a villain. She's actually a sorceress, but in this one they went a different route. And then Rutger Hauer is one of the kings, one of the Christian. Well, actually, he's not a Christian, but he's one of the kings that takes over the land. And the actress who played Cersei in Game of Thrones plays Guinevere. And Martin Short is the gnome, is Queen Mab's assistant, the gnome, Frick. And Helena Bonham Carter is Morgan Le Fay. So it's a really cool miniseries. And this is what the lady of the lake, he has met her, Merlin has met her and everything, and he is asking her for help. I give you Excalibur! So obviously you know what that means. So, the next one is another favorite fantasy of mine, one of the first fantasies I ever got into that wasn't a book. And it was, it's also a mini-series. And this is when Virginia, our main character, Virginia, who's from our world, she has come to the prince of this king, of Snow White's grandson, has been turned into a dog by the evil queen. But not Snow White's evil queen, but another one that had become an apprentice to the Snow White's evil queen. She has become a new evil queen, and she has met Prince Snow White's grandson, and has cursed him and turned him into a dog, and has replaced him with a real dog that has been turned into a prince. And to escape the trolls that the evil queen has hired to grab him, he goes through a mirror into our world, and he runs into Virginia Lewis, who is her and her dad, and they are normal people like us. And then they go through the mirror and end up in the kingdoms, the 9 kingdoms of fairy tale land. And they journey throughout the kingdoms just so they can get back to the kingdom where the real Prince Wendell is. And there is a scene where they go into the Dragon Mountain, where they get separated, and actually, coincidentally, Virginia comes across the grave of Snow White. And this is what is on her grave. For 7 men she gave her life. For one good man she was his wife. Beneath the ice by Snow White falls, here lies the fairest of them all. I don't know why, I just like the sound of that in the little rhyme. Okay, and this is another one. When they finally get to Prince Wendell's palace, Snow White's grandson's palace, and they have run into this talking toad who's all like, one door leads to safety, one door leads to a horrible death, and they have to choose between the 2 doors. And Tony, Virginia's father, is finally fed up. He is so fed up with all this crazy crap of this world. So he's like, what is the point of having one door that has a horrible death behind it? I mean, what's that achieve? What is the purpose of your life? What are you doing? And then, just to be a pain? And the toad is talking, he says, what are you doing? Well, only my girlfriend touches me there. And he throws him in one of the doors. He had picked up the toad. Okay, so the next one is from Bruce Almighty, which is a Jim Carrey film where Jim Carrey's this news anchor, who gets all these lame, news jobs, and he is just fed up with life and everything. His life is really starting to suck and all that, and so he blames God for that, and he prays to God, and and then finally God, played by Morgan Freeman, answers him and gives him his powers. And so Bruce, of course, naturally has a little bit too much fun with those powers. And this is what he says, this is one of his lines. He says, I don't know if it's at the end of the movie or in the middle I don't know when he says that, but he says, behind every great man, there's a woman rolling her eyes. I feel like that's incomplete, though. I feel like that's not the whole quote. And then this quote is just one that I kind of made up, actually. I just came up with it. I don't know if I heard it anywhere or not, but I said, every woman has her hero, but every man needs a heroine. And I didn't know what was the difference between the spelling of the drug heroin and heroin as a female hero. So I said, not the drug, in parentheses. Okay, so this is another one. Okay, I love this quote. This is from one of my favorite romantic comedies from the 90s. It is about a female reporter. She was kind of shy, awkward, a bit of a nerd in high school, and she gets a chance to go, she's a copy editor, and she gets a chance to go back to high school and do an expose on kids today. And this is her chance to prove to become more than a copy editor. And this is when she's talking to her friends, and they're trying to help her out and everything with her new undercover job, and they find out that she's never been kissed. So this is hence the title. So this is what she says: that thing, that moment when you kiss someone, and everything around you becomes hazy, and the only thing in focus is you and this person, and you want to laugh and you want to cry. That's what she says about what she wants her first kiss to be like, her experience. And then this next one is from the movie Daredevil, the one that not everybody hates, the one with Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck and Colin Farrell. I know everybody hates that one, but this is what Colin Farrell says. He's the villain Bullseye, if I remember correctly. And he's saying to the character, Jennifer Garner's character, "You're good, baby, I'll give you that. But me, I'm magic." Okay, I wrote it down. Okay. Alright, this is all a bunch of crap that I wrote. Let me see. I'm probably not going to be able to read you. Okay, here. More quotes. This is actually what one of my teachers said, but she probably got it from somewhere. But it's everybody is somebody's weirdo. I love it. And this is from I've actually seen the book at the bookstore. This next one, so it's also a book as well. But I saw the TV miniseries first. And it's Empire Falls, and this is what the dad is saying to the daughter. You stole my heart and you haven't given it back for a minute. And this is so this next one is Ferngully, one of my favorite animated films. I might have to stop. I might have to do only a couple more quotes, and then I gotta stop because I don't want this video to be too long. This is from Ferngully. It's about fairies and the rainforest, and they're protecting the rainforest from pollution. And this human guy gets turned into a fairy on accident. It's a cute movie. Bless your eyes with a magic light. I give the gift of fairy sight. That's what our main fairy, Krista, says. Although when she says, I think she says flight, and this is when she turns the human guy into a fairy. And this is her grandmother and mentor. This is what she says to her, because she's moving on into the next life and passing the torch on to her granddaughter. And then she says, "I love you and will always be with you. We all have the power, and it grows when it is shared." That's what, and then this is another quote from her. Same movie, obviously. "All the magic of creation exists within a single tiny seed." Okay, so this next one is from one of my favorite movies from childhood, another 90s movie. And this is what this old man in the story says to one of our main girls, Samantha. This is about a group of girls, 4 friends, who are completely different, and it is about how they agreed to, when one of them is in need, they all get together. And it is all about the summer they made that pact and what happened and what motivated them to make the pact. And there is an old man in the story that they each form a connection with. And this is the advice he gives Samantha, our main character, one of our main characters. Well, Samantha, things will happen in your life that you can't stop, but that's no reason to shut out the world. There's a purpose for the good and the bad. And this is actually what she says at the end, right before we get back to the present. This is what Samantha says. But what the summer actually brought was independence from each other. And of course that's an incomplete quote, actually, because there's more to the quote than that. And okay, so this is, okay, well, I guess I'll stop there, and I'll just make another video where I share quotes. So, I hope you liked that and weren't too bored with my voice and everything and found that kind of entertaining. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up and click subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate it.